Welcome to the session. We have had one of the sessions earlier as well, but then some of you could not attend it. And then you sent out a message because I think it was not falling within the time zone. And then I got ill. I was down with a viral and I could not, have another session. So I thought, why not record it and share the recording with everyone, right? And we'll see in the future if we can have more such sessions in a live setting. But then for now, let's go ahead with the recording. Again, a lot of you sent your questions, uh, and I closed the form once we had, I think, 81 uh, people replying to it. And I thought, okay, let me go over all of those because there were a lot of things you asked. And then I read almost everything. I and maybe let's go into it. An important note here, this is all my personal observation, thoughts, and I'm no advisor, right? So, and different people will be having different perspective, they'll be in a different phase of their life, and they might give you a totally different advice, right? So again, so you decide what is right for you, and these are all my personal observations and thoughts. Okay, so the next sort of not 60 minutes, but we'll see how many minutes we will do it because we'll not have the open Q&A. We'll first start with maybe about me because a lot of you asked about my story, and we'll not cover it in a lot more detail, but then we'll go over it briefly, and then we'll go over the questions that you have sent across. I have bucketed them, and then we'll try to work across those themes, right? And yeah. So my story, where have I been, right? 21 years I've been working most of the time in Adobe, uh, and then in 2022 I moved to Zalando, and I I was just how Zalando happened was I was just talking to one of my friend, and then I got to know that there's an opening. So I was referred, and then within the next few weeks, the interviews happened, and then the role was offered. I could not go that time because the visas were not open. It was peak COVID, and then the visas opened, I think, in a few months. And then in January 2022, I was slated to go, but then we got COVID. So we have to delay by 2 weeks. But then, all is well that ends well. We moved in February 2022. It has been a great time there. Got to work a lot on different things, different people, and great folks. And Berlin itself is, great. Uh, and then we, in June this year, we moved back. I mean, we have been thinking about it for quite some time now because as our parents are old, they need our support. And then moving from Berlin to here on a regular basis isn't the right thing, right? It takes a toll on everyone. I mean, end to end, from door to door, it takes about 20 hours or so, and there's no direct flight as well. So with a small kid, I think it would have been, it was tough to make things work if we do it a regular Berlin to India, India to Berlin. So we took a call and we thought, okay, we'll go ahead, moving. And then all of this, right? I've never stopped learning. I think there's a lot of things to learn still, and building apps, doing the IHP CTO program and whatnot. So there hasn't been any end phase of my life in which I was like, okay, no, I have learned, I know everything now. No, I think I'm still learning. There have been a lot of changes happening, and I'm still excited about technology. Yeah. And then if you want to know more about why I moved, you see, I wrote an article there a lot more details on in this article. You can have a look if you want. It will give a lot more details that I am not covering here. Okay, then it even on this, and it was 12 themes about whether to move or not move, moving back to, moving to Germany, moving back to India, career, leadership. There were engineers, product design folks, HR, and everyone. There were a lot of people who asked, and a lot of these answers, right, will depend on the function you are in. So not everything is applicable to everyone. Uh, and then, yeah, we'll try to cover these themes. Cool. So first one is there's nothing about whether the move is even worth it. People asked about the work-life balance. They're earning about 55 lakhs in India. Whether the work-life balance, how is it there? And then some people asked about the totally opposite, about whether it purely from a financial point of view, it makes sense, uh, and about uh, the ability to save, and it makes sense to move now, looking at the next 10 years. How do you analyze the pros and cons and whatnot? I would say stop asking it as a money questions, because on savings alone, usually Germany will lose, right? A senior India salary in your own city with family support and everything, affordable health and all, it's hard to be. Uh, so don't look at it as a money question. Maybe we'll have a look at here. I've taken a salary of 1,000 euros per year, and if you see it will translate into around 4,800 euros. You have a kid, and you get about 250 euros more, so it will mostly about 5,000 euros. And if you look at off livings, this is, I think, 3 or 4 things will change based on how you live, what are your expenses, and you want to live a luxurious life, or and whatnot. And so an apartment cost, if you look at the middle of Berlin, if you're looking for a two bedroom apartment, will cost around somewhere around 1,800 to 2,000 or so. But if you go to, or maybe more as well, but then if you go a little bit far, you might get the similar apartment for 1,500. And then you add the regular cost of, money, transport ticket, and your internet, and the mobile phone plan, and everything will be mostly about, again, next again another 200-300. Now it depends whether you want to put your kid into an international school. The cost varies from 800 euros a month to about 1,500 euros a month. In Berlin, kindergartens are mostly free. Schools are also free, but this is mostly the international school. So this is what it is, and then groceries and all, you can take about of 500 a month. So in total, it will be about 3,000, and you save around 2,000. And it's if you have 85,000 euros salary, but then you will come to India and then whatnot. So that's those are all expenses, and all it depends on what all expenses you would want to have. In India, 55 lakhs usually gives you around 40 lakh in hand. So it's mostly about 3.5 lakhs, per month, which is very, very decent amount in India. Even if you are living on a rent and you will spend about 1.5 lakhs or so with rent and help and everything going out, and you save about 2 lakhs then. So it's mostly similar. The kind of facilities and all you get will be more affordable or more here. But then again, it's not a money question, right? You are looking for uh, buying time. So you'll have predictable evenings. If you are working for a German company, you'll mostly get done by about 6:30, and then you have the evenings for you. Uh, uh, if you are working for a US company, then maybe you'll have a few meetings in the evenings here and there. I mean, it's similar to what we have right now. The commute doesn't take at all, right? You have good public transport as well. Uh, and then you don't have to drive everywhere. You can take the transport. Holidays are holidays. You take, I mean, it's the same here and there, right? Here also you take holidays in Germany. Also, it depends a lot on you and your managers. If you plan it out well, you take your holidays. So uh, while you'll be afar from your family, the titles might move slower. And again, it is also beneficial, a lot beneficial if you learn the, the, the language. I mean, if you want to stay longer, I would definitely recommend that you learn German language. It will help in a lot more ways. So with that, I think build your own spreadsheet. Notice, how is it going? You'll get the real answer there. And at times, I think some of these decisions are beyond any Excel, like mine. But then an Excel sheet or will help out, take things into perspective and see what is it that matters to you and what not. Right. Then the people asked about, getting the interviews, applying for months, EMs at Adobe, ex Microsoft, they are applying, not getting any reply, referrals, internal transfer, and then whatnot, right? For that, I think let's understand how it works, how the file works, how the recruitment works, and the impact on the real work. So if you look at it right, uh, as a recruiter or as a hiring manager, what I would want is someone who can join faster or immediately, right? And then that is where I think most of the candidates from EU and all will have an advantage because they can join. Yeah, because they can join within some time. Typical notice period for EU candidates is about 3 months, while if someone is relocating from outside, it could take anywhere between 4 to 7 months, depending on the visa dates and whatnot. Though companies can expedite that as well. Uh, and I think with all of that, there are a lot of folks coming from around the world, right? Not only India, but you name the country and the right folks, good talent is coming in Germany from anywhere. So currently, the job market is sort of slightly uh, brutal, not only in Germany but everywhere. So you might have to have some patience, right, if you want to really move to Germany. Then, I mean, for a role, there will be about hundreds of applications, 700 applications for any role. So the attention time for a recruiter is low. So you have to look at how do you convey the impact you have made. So if you just say, okay, I've worked on scalable microservices, well, it doesn't mean anything, right? You have to show what it entails too. Uh, Basically, an example is cutting the latency by 40% for whatever users, right? Or if you are looking for a lead experience, you said you have led however engineers, 4, 5, 6, and whatnot. And then I would say keep building things and keep showcasing things, present in conferences, become the expert in whatever field you are in, be visible, try to add your photo, cover letter, and then if it works for you, right, if it works for your company, you can try out an internal transfer. I think that's one of the best ways to go to Germany or any country in that for that matter. Sponsorship, how does the visa sponsorship company provide it? Should I, secure a sponsored offer letter, mid-sized startups, masters, and whatnot? Say, get the offer first if you can, and then move. Because once you have the offer, you have something in hand. Look for an offer which can offer you a salary which is more than 51,000. You be entitled for a blue card. which gives a good path going forward, right, for PR and all. Although this keeps on changing, the 50,700 keeps on changing every year. But then for tech folks, I think this is the salary which people usually get. So yeah, opportunity card. It gives you a chance to go to Germany and then find a job, and then in the meantime you can work part time as well. I think it's good for someone who is young, single, mobile, right, and just exploring the market. Maybe they don't have a job in India, but then it is difficult with a family and or alone, because then you have to survive uh, yourself there. You'll have to find an apartment to live, maybe 300-400 euros per month, and then groceries and food another 200-300. So all in all, about 600-700 euros you have to spend per month for apartment and groceries, and you have to sustain yourself, right? So look at what works. I would say don't leave your job and look at the influence showing that you get a lot of opportunities everywhere. I think uh, be practical about it. Don't just blindly follow what the influencers say. I mean, I have seen people who have who have sort of left their good jobs in India and moved to Germany. And in Germany, you have a probation period of 6 months. And I mean, the market currently is not that great, right? So if a company decide to slash a role, then the people on probation might have to go first, because they are the first ones to get targeted, even if their performance is good. I have known a few people who were in this state. They left their job in India, went to Germany, and in probation they could not they could not convert because of not because of their performance, but because the role was gone. But then, anyway, these are just cases, right? There are people who are doing great as well. It's not to discourage, but then it's a reality. It could go either way. So you have to be practical about it, and don't just think that everything will work out. Be ready for anything that doesn't work out as well. With that, I think yeah, it's. I mean, if you get a good job offer, then why not? So, it depends on the offer that you are getting as well. So I think for visa, mostly the large companies and all, they sponsor the visa. They have the legal machineries. They can expedite as well if you're not getting the date, and they have a relocation budget. A startup will also mostly do that, but then there's a lot of paperwork. But now the startups are sort of well funded, so they are looking for good talent as well. So they have the money to get you, and there are other startups who are coming there to help people sort of expedite as well, and get you from one country to another. So I think for the right kind of talent, right kind of candidate, I think companies large or small can sponsor you, uh, and yeah, and help out with the paperwork. Dependent permit. So usually this is something different that works in Germany. If you're on a dependent visa, maybe your spouse is working, then you can also work. You don't need any other kind of visa to work. So you are dependent, you just start to work. And if you're working, then you will decide if you want to have a blue card or not. It's not mandatory, it's your call. But then you can work, which makes you the cheapest and fastest hire, right? So you are already in Germany, you are immediately available, you can just start from today itself, right? So that way it works. But then it depends on the domain or the function that you are in, and some of these functions might take a lot of time to get a job or convert an interview. Yeah. Then people ask about journalists, PhD. and whatnot. So let's go there. You don't need German to get a job, but then it is, as I said, right, it's always beneficial to learn the local language wherever you are. You open up a lot of avenues for yourself if you learn the local language. So mostly in big companies, startups as well, English is the primary language, and then they are open to hire the right candidate. But then, if you let's say if you are going on an opportunity card, right? Then if you know German, it becomes a lot more. I mean, it opens a lot more avenues because there will be traditional German companies who are undergoing digital transformations, and they need engineers, right? And that is where, if you know German or if you know some part of it, it will help you out a lot. So it will just open up a lot more opportunities for you. Um, and then a German master is a good way to get into the German market as well. I think they are very well respected German public universities. Some of them are really good. I would say don't go for private ones. Go for the public ones. They are free as well. So you just have to take care of your housing and the groceries, and mostly the semester fee is very nominal. But then I would say choose it carefully because in some of them, some subjects are offered only in German. So look at which university you are applying for, what are the subjects they offer, and then which language they are offering it in. Uh, However, if you have also made up your mind to go and do a master's in German, I think it will always be beneficial if you learn the language, maybe complete A2 from here and be on a path to B1 or so. And when you're doing master's, you do B1 or B2. It's always good to learn the local language. It will help out a lot. Then the work culture, and they are really scared of the work culture, limited opportunities, careers in Germany, more lucrative about ownership, impact, and balance. Right. That's it. There are always trade-offs, right? So in Germany, uh, holidays longer. People usually disappear. Nobody will ping you at 10 p.m. unless it is an emergency, and which is mostly the same case now in India as well. There are people who take a lot of holidays. Again, in terms of the people, they are very direct, which is I think a good thing because it might take some time to get used to, but then you will get to know right what works and what not. And if someone is very direct, then you get to know what they are thinking instead of just uh, imagining whether they are you know thinking as you are thinking or not. So it's a good way. And Berlin, I would say, is very diverse as well, with a lot of nationalities coming in. So you get to work with a lot of folks. Everyone has different ways of working, and and I think it's a good experience. Getting to know them, getting to know their ways of working, your ways of working, finding a way of work that works for all of us, right? Again, ownership, I think it totally depends on you and your manager. It depends. It's the same here in India as well. It's the same everywhere. If you are proactive, if you want to take more ownership, you can take it here as well. And the same goes for anywhere in the world, right? Again, work-life balance depends on what you value. The evenings will be free, but you might have to groceries, prepare food, unless you eat outside. For example, for us, we wanted one Indian meal. Uh, so we used to, in the evening, we used to do that meal preparation and all. Then you'll have to get the kids into the extra curricular activities. Some of them will be in the schools, some of them will be outside, so you have to take them around. While maybe in India, if you are in an apartment, some of the extracurricular activities might be there in the apartment itself, right? For the government things, I think the appointment time is more. You get appointments after a few months at times, but then once you have the appointment, once you have your paperwork right, I think things get done without any hassle. No one will unnecessarily ask you for anything. They'll do it without much of a hassle. You'll have a very pleasant experience. And usually you just have to make sure that all the paperwork is right. And yeah, and once you get the appointment, things are pretty straightforward. So that's a good part. And yeah, hey, if you're not here, then what? Product owners, tech PMs, design roles, directors, yeah, HR and whatnot. So what happens then? I mean, I don't have a lot of uh, in there, but from what I know, I think data science, AI, ML, behavior like engineering, sponsorship is there, English is the working language, demand is well there. The level without German is possible. Again, but then again, right, for the senior roles as anywhere, the pool is small. Not a lot of senior roles. Like it's same everywhere, right? As you go senior, the roles start to shrink, and then so it's a long search, but then maybe not a hard one. So you have to be patient. Product demand is there, but again, it's like anywhere, right? It's lesser than engineering. Maybe for an engineering team, you need one product manager. So it is less, but then it is there. English speaking product companies, they are genuinely open. Startups are open to. I've seen a lot of people from India into product roles in Germany. So I think the demand is there. People are getting into these roles. And yeah, I think the right talent, good talent, find their ways anywhere. Design, I'm not that sure, but then for the leadership role, there might be lesser. But then I think you can build a good portfolio. IC roles are open. You can go into a contract role as well, and perhaps take maybe the lead IC role, and then walk your way up to the leadership role from there. HR, sales, business leadership might be harder because some of these roles might depends on the company you are applying for. They might need German language skills, the sales roles and all. Uh, for the HR role, I know HR folks who know English and from various countries and who know English and who are there in the HR role. So that works out too well. For the sales role, I think it depends on the company. At times you need proficient the German language skill as well. So maybe look for an internet transfer if you can, right, and see how it works, or yeah, remote roles as well. Okay, moving back to India, I think some people asked about 8 years in Germany, citizenship, nothing is wrong, feels saturated, how to think about moving back to India and the structuring of finances. When should I be applying, giving notice period, the skill gain in Germany still relevant, investments in Germany, what to do and what not. And how has the move of me, right? Do I regret anything? So I think for me, it's about 2 months in. So ask me in a year, I would say it's just 2 months is a very small time period. That we are still yet settling in. Although I'm grateful that I'm around my parents and I'm able to support them. They're also happy that I'm around. They're happy with the grandkid around, and I think the kid has gotten a sort of bundle of energy and I could see their happiness, right? When the kid is all around. So yeah, so I think for moving back, it depends, on your motivation in today's world. Nothing is stable. Germany do have a great life protection, unemployment, money, and India also offers a lot of things. So it depends on really on your motivation to stay or move. It's very personal. However, I would say if you are move with a job in hand. I think that would be good. Or if not, then see whether you have your expenses sorted out for the next few months. For applying, I think apply out like before 5 months, and then name your date. Because if you look at the recruiter point of view or the hiring manager in India, they'll say, okay, yeah, you're a good candidate, interviews all done. Now, when do you join? You say, okay, I have a 3 months notice period, which again they'll say, 3 months maybe is a lot, right? Can you join early? So, and in Berlin or Germany, 3 months notice period is a standard for any job, for your apartment and everything. Me, for the job, you can just tell if you have made up your mind, you can work out with your manager and say that, I'm planning to move. And then I will keep applying. When I get a job, I might need your help to reduce the notice period for maybe a month or so. But then, yeah, I think that might help out. Your skills will be valuable, of course. You would have worked with some, great companies, international companies or German companies out there. You would have worked with a lot of folks from around the world. So the experience you have uh, will is valued a lot. On the taxation, I would say pay a tax advisor. I think don't trust a call like this. I'm also not a tax advisor. And it depends a lot, right? It depends on when are you moving, your status, uh, what do you want to do with your portfolio, put them, liquidate it, what are your long-term goals and the tax treatment on them and whatnot. So it really, you have to figure it out, have a tax advisor from both India and Germany and work it out with them. I think that would be the best way because yeah, I mean you need to make sure that you're doing the taxation right. Citizenship, yeah, I think Germany has, I think, the fourth or fifth strongest passport in the world. So yeah, it's a good deal. It's a great deal if you can get a citizenship and then move out if you want to move. But then I would say don't over-index on it, right? Some people I met, they said, we are staying here till we get citizenship so that our children can, be free. They can, go anywhere and whatnot. And then their children are small. So, and you don't know, right? In 8, 10 years, next 8, 10 years, what will happen? So don't over-index. People from India or anywhere around the world are also going abroad for education. They are making their own life. They are making out what works for them. So if you get chance to take a citizenship, why not? I think a lot of people want that, and a lot of people are taking it as well. And then in India, you get the OCI, so it works out. Uh, but again, totally depends on your current situation and what you want to do. Then family kids schooling, how the transition for a school going kids were comfortable, and in German and only some English academic, and then schooling for a ninth grader, single mother moving, and the son is a serious footballer, and managing school education and the financial impact. So yeah, I think if you move to Germany, usually one of you will sort of get a job. That's the usual case I have seen, and the other one will be all of finding out the job or working remotely to get a job. So at times it works, at times it doesn't. So you might see that it working out well. But you might also have to be ready that if your partner doesn't get a job or doesn't get an internal transfer, you should be ready for a job search. Uh, well, for kids, under 10 is easy because yeah, you get they absorb a lot. That into the German school, and then they picked up German pretty quickly. However, for age 14, 15 and all, right, it might become hard if you want to put them in a public German school, because the academic track there needs strong German, and you won't be able to help out because all the subjects will be in German, and then you would also not know German. So you have to find uh, tuitions to actually make it work, and there will be a lot of stress that you would have to manage for you, for the kid as well. However, that doesn't mean that it doesn't work. I've seen people who have made it work. The kids moved that around 9, 10, go on to public schools and are doing great, right? Or there's another option of moving into an international school. And the international school could be a private one or a public one. Private one costs a lot. It costs from 800 euros to about the month, while the public one is mostly into a lottery system. You have a language test and then you get into a lottery. So it depends on your luck. But yeah, that's there. And coming back to India again, you have a German fluent child. English depends on whether you are speaking to your child in English, and the regional language also. Usually, they lose touch of the regional language, and then you have to choose a school widely. Wisely here, right? You have a lot of options here: CBSE, IC, Cambridge, IB. So you have to choose the curriculum, which is very different from the way it's taught in schools, right? So, and for us, I think it's going fine. I mean, Hindi language, that's the regional language here, is the one that to do a lot, because a kid can understand Hindi, but he has chosen not to speak it. Speaking is coming back, and he is now picking up. I think the reading and the writing part is the most difficult one, I would say, because that's where, I mean, he hasn't got a chance to learn the Hindi language formally, right? The third point we already discussed, and the fourth, I would say, childcare and all. India, you can figure out, right? You might have your family and support network, but then in Germany you have to figure it out. So see, move to a city wherein you are closer to your, you have someone close in the family, or have good friends who can help you out in your initial days at least, right? Because even a housing search at times takes a lot of time. And like in India, where you see 10 houses and then you choose and pick, this is the one I want, this is according to my budget. In Germany, it's slightly different. The demand is a lot more. You might not even get appointments for house viewings. Even if you get the appointments, you might not get selected, even if you are ready to pay the price as well. So it is a different market. So the housing search can take some time. So make sure that you know people, good people that are around and can help and support you. I think with that Q&A we'll not do because it's a recording. So, but if you have anything, yeah, you can reach out to me. Again, you can reach out to me on LinkedIn. That's a place to find me. Or I've also started a TopMate page because a lot of people reached out to me for one-on-one queries. You can reach out to me on my TopMate page. The code, there's a discount code as well, early 30, which can help out in which can give you a 30% discount. And then we'll see if we can have more such sessions as well in the future. Again, thank you for trusting me with the real questions. I hope I was able to answer. And again, this is my perspective. This is what I think. You will meet more people, they'll have different perspectives as well. So I would say honor all the perspectives. There's nothing right or wrong. You have to think and decide what works best for you. Right? Have a good day ahead and see you around.